Welcome to Street TV. I'm here with a synopsis of day 5 of trial testimony in the case of People versus Daystar Peterson. And let's get right into day 5. Let's get right into day 5. What's up? We're going to just go over a quick synopsis of what happened on day 5 of Tory Lanez's trial. And it started off by playing Kelsey Harris's interview from September of 2022, just a few months before. Now, initially, the judge had ruled that entire interview admissible because she was coming to court to testify. So there was no need to play the audio because the prosecution completely expected Kelsey Harris to say the same things that she said in the interview that she did in September. But because she did not testify to what she said in that interview, the prosecution decided to play the entire interview. And I'm going to give you a quick synopsis of that interview. And then I'm going to get off after that, and I'm going to come back on and have a couple of people that were in court watching the trial with me, and we're going to have a small little powwow on what we think of the trial thus far with 5 days of trial testimony. So first and foremost, I can't speak to anyone who's missing because the trial is still going on. Let me just start off by saying the trial is still going on and the prosecution still has the case. They took one witness out of order. The defense attorney took a witness out of order, but it's still the prosecution's case. So let me go over the audio interview of Kelsey Harris. And present at the interview was her husband and both prosecutors, Alexander Bott, Kathy Ta, and a prosecutor investigator named Jody Little. And then on the phone were two attorneys for Kelsey Harris. Couldn't quite get their name. They didn't spell their names on the record, but it sounded like Donald Worthy and Dominic Calhoun, but couldn't get any spellings on that. And the interview lasted from 11:30 a.m. to 12:58 p.m., an hour and 20 minutes. And they started off by saying, "This is the first time meeting you, Kelsey Harris." Apparently, she had avoided meeting with prosecutors for the last 2 years. For 2 years, she avoided meeting the prosecutors until this day in September of 2022. So she starts off by saying that she met Megan Thee Stallion at Prairie View University around 2013, 2014. Then she goes into, in July of 2020, she came back from Texas in June of 2020. She had recovered from COVID. And when she got back to LA, they were invited to Kylie Jenner's house to a little gathering, a little get-together party, whatever you want to call it, on June 11th. June 11th was Kylie Jenner's scheduled get-together. She said she had met Tory earlier in 2020 at a Rock Nation brunch, and then immediately Megan wanted for me to get involved with Tory Lanez. And then Megan had sent Kelsey to Houston to take care of some business with an apartment. And while she was in Texas, she caught COVID. And she caught COVID, and she got stuck in Houston for a little longer than what was expected. And then during this time is when Kelsey told the prosecutors that Megan and Tory got close. And then when she finally made it back to LA, she was at a video shoot with Megan, And that's when they bumped into Kylie, and Kylie had invited them over to come to their house. That would have been July 11th. I said June 11th. That would have been July 11th. And Megan and Kelsey went to Kylie's house with EJ, the stylist. He drove them. And they got to their house around 6 or 7 p.m., according to this interview, this audio interview. We heard testimony earlier that she may have gotten over there around 4 or 5 o'clock. She said Kylie already had 6 or 7 people there when they arrived. After arriving, Megan offered to cook. She wanted to make nachos. There was a pool, and 3 of Kylie's best friends were there. There were some other people there that she couldn't remember their names, but she did remember that Odell Beckham was there. So there was actually about 9 people there. We were playing beer pong, basketball, and then Megan came out and said, "Y'all having fun without me?" And she said, "Well, come join us." Kelsey told Megan, "Come join us." They continued to drink alcohol, and at some point, she became unconscious. She said, "I don't know what time it happened, maybe around 10 or 11 o'clock. When I woke up, everyone was gone." And then she noticed Tory Lanez was there. Tory was there, Megan was there, and Kylie was still there. And EJ was still there. She said Megan had called a few people on FaceTime to come over. So Kylie, Tory, and Megan are in the area. She said she was in the hot tub, and EJ was sitting under the cabana on his cell phone. And she said Megan started to laugh uncontrollably. She said she had never heard this before from Megan. It was not normal. And then at that time, EJ said it was time to go. But Megan didn't want to go. Then she went upstairs to get her luggage. She said Kylie had gave them a room to change their clothes, and they had left their luggage. And she said she loaded EJ's car with the bags. So when she loaded EJ's car with the bags, that meant she had every intention that they were going to leave the same way they came, in EJ's car. But Megan didn't want to go. EJ said, "Tell Megan it's time to go." EJ told Megan that her wig was falling off, and then it was at that time Megan decided to leave. But Tory stayed. And then Megan said, let me see here. I guess Kelsey said, "Megan, tell EJ that Tory is taking us home." So then they transferred all the bags from EJ's car into Tory's car. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Megan tells EJ that Tory's taking us home, not EJ. So then they transfer the bags into Tory's car. And then Megan tells Quan, "Go get Tory," because Tory is still inside Kylie's house. Tory walked out briefly, I believe, or maybe Tory doesn't come out. It's a little unclear. But Tory didn't want to leave. Tory wasn't upset. He just didn't want to get in the car. So apparently he came outside. He didn't want to get in the car. Kelsey said, "I don't know why." And then they leave without Tory. So now it's Kelsey, Quan, and Megan in the car. And then EJ leaves in his car at the same exact time. Kelsey said EJ was in the car behind them. And this is important because Megan had testified the reason why she left, she wanted to leave with Tory, is because EJ had already left. According to Kelsey, EJ was there the entire time. So now it's Kelsey, Quan, and Megan in the car. She says she's in the back seat. And then at some point after they drove off, Megan realizes she left a Louis Vuitton slipper. Then when they returned back, there were 6 security guards standing in front of Kylie's house. So Quan gets out the car with Megan, and then they go inside. And then shortly thereafter, Kelsey waited in the car, and then Kelsey says that they all ran out. And then Kylie comes out. but only to the porch. She doesn't come all the way out. And then she said, Megan said, bitch, Kylie says we got to get the fuck out of here. And then Quan tells Megan Quan tells Kelsey in the car that Megan and Tory were arguing when Megan went inside. So then they all get in the car. Megan starts laughing uncontrollably, Kelsey says. I asked her what was so funny. Then Tory says to Kelsey, what's up? Tory says, tell her how thick you are. And then Kelsey's like confused. Well, what's up? And then they start arguing. Tory starts calling Megan a bitch and a hoe. Then I defended Megan and said, you can't talk to her. You can't talk to my friend like that. And Tory said, I'm from Canada in a gangster way. Then he told me, I will shoot you. And then she says, Tory reaches for something in the console area, but never pulled anything out. It was just a motion. Then they were arguing. Oh no, then Kelsey tells Tory, well, if you shoot me, I have people that will support me. Then they're on Sunset Boulevard, and Megan demands to get out the car. Quan pulls over the car, Megan gets out, and then Tory follows out. Kelsey says that they were sitting on a bus stop on Sunset, and they had a conversation. And then shortly thereafter, they both get back into the car. She says everything is calm at this time. Tory apologizes and tells me, you're a real ass nigga. Then Megan starts arguing with Tory and says that they start talking about artistry. She starts dissing his artistry and says that you only got a remix with Jack Harlow. And then now we at the second stop. And then Tory tells Quan to let these bitches out my car. Stop the car and let them out. And then Megan gets out the front passenger side, and Kelsey says she gets out of her side. And then no sooner, she hears gunshots. She says there were 5. I heard 3, and then I look and see Tory in the front seat leaning over the door. I don't know how he made it to the front seat. It was a smooth transition because when she got out the car, Tory was in the back seat. So she says she looks back after the 3rd shot, and she sees Tory in the front seat. I don't know how he did it. It was a smooth transition, leaning over the front passenger door. My side was left near the door. My left side, she said my left side was near the door, and Megan was walking and then turned around, and she looked like a deer in the headlights. She says, I'm short, 4'11". And the prosecutor said, did he say anything? Kelsey said, no, Tory didn't say a word. And Quan was not involved. She said, we all froze. Then Megan crawled, walked, or limped to the driveway on the driver's side of the car. I ran over to her. I'm in defense mode. I grabbed her. She said she grabbed her in a way to console her. In my head, she says, she got shot. Then I see Tory coming around the vehicle. I feel like he's going to attack us. I believe he had a gun. I stepped in between Megan and Tory, and then Tory attacked. He assaulted me. Then Quan came and picked me up, and Quan said, they do this all the time, telling that to Kelsey. She's bleeding. This is what Quan said. They do this all the time. I don't know if Tory was hitting me with a closed fist or slapping me, and then Quan just picked me up. Then I jumped in the car and I jerked it. She's saying she got into the driver's side of the car and kind of moved the car, took it out of park, jerked the car. Didn't really explain why she did that. And then she said she was able to get Tory away from Megan by doing that. Then he got to me really quick. That's when he pulled my hair really hard and my necklace broke, pulling my neck and hair. Then Quan gets between us. But Tory had a grip on my hair. It was like tug of war. Then he released. We were all standing at the driver door. I don't know how Megan got in the car. We didn't know what to do we didn't call 911. My nail broke off in the fight with Tory. And then she says that we got back in the car. Quan is driving. Now Tory's in the front seat. Kelsey, she says she's sitting behind the driver, Quan, and Megan is behind Tory. In the car, I'm having panic attacks. But Megan is extremely calm. She wasn't even distraught. I was the one distraught. And then she gets a little emotional and starts to cry. Now remember, this is all audio. There's no video of this interview. And then Megan told Kelsey to contact Ferris, her manager. We ended up on Sunset. We didn't have a destination. I tried to call Ferris. The call didn't go through. So then I just text Justin Edison, Megan Security. And then the DA says, yeah, we have a copy of that text. I sent a text to Travis Ferris. I dropped him the location. I called my mom. Help, I'm hurt. Then she gets emotional again. I also sent a call to this guy that I was talking to. I let him listen in the car to hear everything. Megan had her leg on me. I don't recall looking at her feet. I don't know what her injuries were. Tory keeps telling me to shut up. Then the police get behind us. And Quan pulled over at that point. They didn't know it was actually, there was a police car that got behind them first. They didn't even know that it was them. So that police car passes them up. Quan had pulled over, but that police car kept going. Then she says she hears the helicopters overhead. And then at that point, Tory was saying for us not to say anything to the police. I'm about to sign a big deal. I'll pay both of y'all $1 million. I'm thinking that Tory and Megan must have had a conversation over at that driveway because Megan wasn't even mad. She was so calm. I had injuries, but I was concerned with Megan. But I regret not dealing with my injuries. Then Ferris arrived after they got pulled over. So they got pulled over. I guess Ferris arrived at the location where they got pulled over. They didn't really go into much detail about how the police got them out the car. So then she goes to Meg is in the ambulance. They sent me to jail. They put me in a room, took photos. I don't recall them swabbing my hands. I don't remember. I don't even believe they swabbed me. They wanted to ask me questions. I asked for an attorney, the way that I saw on TV and the movies. And then eventually they released me at 8 a.m. They released me and Quan together. And Quan said to me, money talks. What did he mean by that? I didn't ask him what he meant. He said, Tory is trying to protect you. I called Megan, I texted her, and they told me to call Jilly. In the previous video, I called this person Julie. I thought I heard Julie, but it's actually Jilly. And then she says Jilly came, picked her up, took her to her house. My clothes were ripped from the altercation. I asked Jilly if I can see Megan. And then we went to the hospital. I got a change of clothes, and then we went to the hospital, and I was sitting in the car. I was sitting in the car waiting to see Megan. While I was sitting in the car, I received a jail call. I thought it was from someone else that I knew was in jail, but it was Tory. And then they asked if Tory apologized. And then she went into that, her team, Megan's team, told me that I wouldn't see Megan in the hospital. And actually, I never did see her. She was my best friend. I knew everything about her. Kelsey never leaves her side. Now she's speaking in the third person. I kept asking if I can see Megan, and no one is saying yes. Desiree from Rock Nation said that Megan is going to be down for a while. I was all alone. They wouldn't let me go see her. I had bruises all over. I was going to leave to go to Houston, but then I decided to stay in LA. But then Desiree booked me a flight to leave LA in 2 hours. She said it was best to leave. It's dangerous in that house. I didn't have anywhere to go, she said. Desiree told her to get a rental in Houston. So I got all of my stuff out the house. She said that Desiree was able to postpone that ticket. She did not leave in 2 hours. She told Desiree that there's no way I can leave this fast. So they changed the time of the tickets. But then the prosecutors go back to asking about that call you got from Tory. Oh, no. She got a call from Tory while he was in jail. But now they're asking about, did Tory call you after? And she said, yes. Quan actually called, and he was whispering on the phone. He had our stuff and luggage. Remember, there was a luggage and a bag that was left in their car. I was okay to meet him to get my stuff. Quan told me to meet him at the studio location, but I didn't feel safe about that. They came to my hotel. We met in the parking lot, Quan, Tory, and then a white guy. I got in their car outside of my hotel. I decided to hear him out, even though I was scared. Tory said that Megan attacked my artistry. He put emphasis on that. I told him that he was wrong to pull out the gun. Did he apologize to you? The prosecutor asked, yes. But then she pivots right back to talking about Megan. She says, I told him I didn't speak to Megan. Her team was treating me weird. Me and Megan moved as a unit. Megan asked me to get rid of my apartment in Houston to come be with her in LA. I sent her a text. Then Megan called back or text back, and she said, find a place in Houston to move, and I'll pay for it for a year. Then I found out that she had left to New York. I didn't even know that. I usually get all the updates. Then the prosecution says, okay, let's get back to Tory, though. Let's get back to Tory Lanez. And what did he apologize about? And he said, I apologize, Kelsey, for what she said, he said, I apologize, Kelsey. What can I do for you? Do you need a job? What can I do? Do you want me to get you a lawyer? Then I said, I don't need a lawyer. I don't need anything. Then he said, think about it and let me know. And then the prosecutor said, what did you think about that offer? And she said, well, I don't want to assume. Did his offer come also as a phone call and a text? And she said, yeah, I still have the text. She said it was in another phone, but those texts were never produced. Did you stop having contact with Megan? Well, she sent me a text asking me if I wanted her to include my name in her statement. I told her, you need to protect me, Megan. They are saying I shot you. Please include me in your statement. I got an attorney for my injuries, but Megan's post actually had no protection of me. She disclosed the events, but didn't protect me. She put out the statement, and then she finds the statement on her phone, and then she reads it, and she says, this is Megan's statement. The narrative that's being reported about Sunday's morning events are inaccurate, and I'd like to set the record straight. On Sunday morning, I suffered gunshot wounds as a result of a crime that was committed against me and done with the intention to physically harm me. I was never arrested. The police officers drove me to the hospital where I underwent surgery to remove bullets. I'm incredibly grateful to be alive and that I'm expected to make a full recovery. But it was important for me to clarify the details about this traumatic night. I'm currently focused on my recovery so I can return back to my life and back to making music as soon as possible. And then Kelsey said, the public realized she didn't protect me. Then I did a response. That I did not shoot Megan. Then Megan contacted me saying, why would you post that? She did not protect me. She put me in the seat with the bad guy. She had no reason to treat me that way. At this point, she didn't even know that I had met with Tory. We went back and forth on text. I was getting threats from the public. Then she gets emotional again while she's telling this part of the story. Then she says that Megan accused her of taking hush money. And then she demanded me to get on Instagram to either delete a post or to make a post. But my attorney told me that you are not going to play these social media games. And then the attorney said she's not even pressing charges. Leave it alone. Then Tory's team was making statements stating that Megan was a drunk. Then Megan demanded that I get on Instagram, but my attorney said, don't do it. I told Megan, My lawyer said stay off social media. Then she said, that's bullshit. You got a lawyer? Then I told her, I talked to Tory, and he said, how can, and then she told her, how can you meet with somebody, ... She never finished that sentence. She thought I was lying. We stopped texting, and then she went to Instagram Live and made it worse. She said that Megan said no amount of money, ... And then she said, and then she said she sent Megan a text. Why are you still bashing me on the internet? It took a lot for me not to go on the internet. My pendant broke in the street that was purchased in June 22 with my dad's death date on it. Megan texts, you a delusional bitch. You took hush money. That's how you got that chain back. The prosecutor said, were you trying to get in her good grace? Why are you here today? She said, we didn't fall out over Tory Lanez. I was mad that she backstabbed me about Tory Lanez, but she didn't protect me. She said I took hush money. Prosecutor said, well, we haven't been able to talk to you until today. And then Kelsey says, she made it hard for me. I didn't want to be a part of this. She's done a lot to me. And it's made me have to go back and forth with her. And then she made a diss track against me. I can't even go to the store. They say I took hush money. She said I betrayed her. Then Kelsey said that Megan needs to be held accountable. Then the prosecutor, Alexander Bott, said, well, doesn't Tory need to be held accountable? And then Kelsey says, yes, him too. She wanted us to go back to Kylie's house. This was never over no Louis Vuitton sandal. Megan was upset that Tory Lanez was still at Kylie's house. Me and Tory Lanez's involvement had nothing to do with that night. Argument did not start with me and Tory. And that pretty much wraps up her audio statement from September of 2022. If this audio statement is true, I would say this leans in the favor of the prosecution. I want everybody here to stay tuned. I'm about to get off, and I'm going to get back on with a couple other people that were in court with me all this week. And we're going to go over all 5 days of this trial. So I'm going to end this video and come right back on with some other folks that was in court with me this week.